Welcome to the 1 to 9 podcast for interesting insights and knowledge from animals and other beings within multidimensional realms. Hi, Diana.
Hi, Karen.
How are you doing today?
Oh, actually, I'm quite a bit better. I think my cold is subsiding somewhat. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
So I hear today we're going to talk to more fairies.
Yes, more fairies, the cat attendant fairies.
The cat attendant fairies. And I just have a quick question about the art fairies. And they had said that I have unbalanced energy in my house because I had other people's art in my back room, and I've switched it out with some of my own art pieces. And I'm just wondering what they're thinking about that.
They're saying it's a good start, but you need a couple more pieces, 1 or 2 more pieces in there.
And would they prefer paintings or would they prefer photographs?
It doesn't actually paintings.
Paintings?
That's what they're saying. Paintings, yeah.
Oh, the paintings? Okay.
Yeah. Because somehow the energy there is more dynamic.
It's a little more dynamic. Okay. Yes. Awesome. All right. Well, I'll check back in.
Just like compound interest. The energy compounds.
Okay. I'll check back in on my next on the next podcast to see where if the back of my house is getting more and more balanced with the front end of my house. All right. So on to the cat attendants.
Yes, I think we ended last time with talking about their costumes. Am I right?
Yes, the little A-line dresses.
It's not really dress because it's more like a jacket.
Oh, okay.
Okay, long sleeves jacket, button down the front.
Well, I wonder why it's important what they're wearing.
I don't know. This is just really bizarre. You know.
Although it does sound like something someone would wear that's an attendant, maybe like a butler or something like that.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen butlers wearing anything like this. To me, it seems more like some kind of not Native American or indigenous peoples, but people from India.
With a little high, short collar.
Yeah, right. And they're not. The attendants are not necessarily wearing any pants underneath. Oh, they could be, right?
Are the attendants cats themselves, or are they?
Oh, no. They're fairies.
Okay, they're fairies. Oh, that's right.
So, like, they're human fairies. Human-looking fairies.
Okay. Do they have wings?
No. If they do, they'd be hidden underneath their jackets.
Okay.
But I've never seen them fly around. They just seem to be walking with the cats.
Can they jump like the cats?
I don't know. Again, I guess they'd have to in order to keep up with them, Or maybe at that point, because I have seen them riding on the cats backs.
Oh, okay.
Right? Okay. So maybe when cats are jumping around, that's how they manage to keep up with them. Not by running or beside them, but just by being riding.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I first noticed these when I was trying to look at my cat's chakras, and I had a hard time just looking inside their bodies. And then the cat attendants appeared and kind of like Vanna White on.
I don't know. I don't watch that show, but
game show. But anyway,
there's going to be some people in the audience who don't know who Vanna White is, but you could Google her.
Right. Okay. So like somebody a presenter who's kind of like revealing the answers. And this is what the answer is. So this is what the cat attendants would be doing. And this is the red chakra. And then this is the orange one. So that's what they were helping me see. They were helping me see inside the cat's bodies. That's how it started. Then I kind of like noticed that they're around more of the time. But with regards to what they actually did, I wasn't quite sure, other than helping me see my cat's chakras. But anyway, I think maybe we should start talking to them and we'll get more information.
Yep, it sounds like a good idea. So let me ask you, does each cat have their own cat attendant?
Yes. Each cat has their own cat attendant. But somehow there's no difference in what they look like. You'd think they would kind of like look different.
Well, maybe it's a cat attendant consciousness that just shows up in an individual form.
Possibly. But they are individual fairies.
Well, okay.
In a similar form. Mm-hmm. At least the form that I see. Other people may not see this see their forms quite like I see their forms.
So what happens to the fairies when the cat crosses over?
Oh, that's a good question.
Ask them.
Yeah. They're saying they actually help them. They're kind of like facilitators for that.
And then the fairy just disappears, or does the fairy?
Well, yeah, kind of, because once you get to that point, the cats that have passed over don't really need them anymore. So then the fairies go off to their special area where they're reunited with various other fairies and then sent off to do various different things.
So they don't become,
depending on what they want to do.
So they don't necessarily become a cat attendant again.
No, but that's their specialty.
Okay.
Okay, so they could become cat attendants again. But if they wanted to, they could become other kinds of fairies.
Okay. And when a kitten is born, is that when the attendant shows up? Or does it wait till it's done?
No, that's when the attendant shows up. And this is actually kind of interesting. The attendant is in the process of growing him or herself. I say him or herself because I don't really know if they're male or female. They could be just like some kind of in-between, androgynous kind of attendant, right? So they get their baby attendants and they grow up with the kitten. And the baby ones are kind of like more playful.
Oh, that's very interesting. So the baby fairy cat attendants are bestowed upon a kitten and they have a lot more fun.
Yeah, they have a lot more fun, right?
So does that kind of, like, what happens? Like, a lot of times I feel like my cats, they tend to have a lot of fun till they're like 3 or 4, and then they kind of chill out and are happy to sleep all the time.
Well, see, that's when the attendants also grow up. So they don't want to play so much.
Well, if they're not playing, what do they want to do? Why not play your whole life?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they get tired of it. I think they get tired of playing the same things.
Playing cat games is boring, in other words.
Yeah.
Strings and little mice.
Yeah. Maybe, okay. They're saying that they would actually like it if they would be taught other things.
And they mean the cat attendants or the cats?
The cat attendants, which of course is transferred onto the cats. I mean, they're in a more protective mode, the cat attendants. Mm-hmm. They're kind of like guardians. But they also want to ensure that the cats live like a happy and healthy life too. So when the cat's growing up and it's not that playful anymore, the attendants, at least the ones I'm talking to, they're saying, maybe you should start thinking about kind of like doing something else with us. Like communicating with us more on a more intellectual level.
The cat attendants or the cats?
Both.
Both.
Yeah,
Okay.
both. Because, I mean, whatever you're saying to the cat attendant is also, you're saying that to the cat. I mean, I had not thought about this before. I had thought that perhaps, like the cats I have, their interests are not that diverse. They're interested in food. They're interested in mice. They're interested in the outdoors. They're interested in birds. And that's it. But that's only my opinion, right? But the cat attendants are saying that, well, maybe you should start thinking about actually communicating with your cats about things other than these basic things that you think your cats are interested in.
Well, I have 2 cats, Ollie and Ellie. Sometimes you hear Ollie on the podcast or he's purring away. And Ellie, I'd be curious, Ellie seems to be very happy to be a cat, but she's a couple years younger than Ollie. Ollie is insistent that I have these more complex communications with him. He wants to go on walks in the morning with me. He's, taps me every time he thinks I'm spending too much time doing something I shouldn't do. Or, he's very interactive and he really wants to go through the consciousness shifts I'm going through together. And I'm just wondering if the cat attendants can explain a little bit why there'd be such a difference in the 2 cats, and is there something specific that maybe the cat attendants could tell us on behalf of the cats? I mean, is it easier to communicate with the cat attendants? And maybe I'm asking too many questions.
Well, okay, in certain cases I found it easier to communicate with the cat attendant, but you're talking about a difference between the two cats. Are you talking about your two cats?
I'm talking about my two cats, but maybe that could be extrapolated to any cats.
Okay, and so you're saying Ollie seems to be more a capability greater than what I see as so like my cats, who basically are interested in these cat-like things, and I don't think they're interested in anything else. But and the difference you see between Ollie and Ellie is Ellie more like my cats, or what I think my cats are?
She seems to be very happy being a cat, and doing cat things, obsessing over a string, chasing a little stuffed mouse around the house, catching a bird. Maybe it's because she's young, although she does come and sit with me every time I meditate. So I'm wondering if she's sensitive to that energy. But yes, I was wondering if we could maybe even ask Ollie's cat attendant, what is his expectations?
Ollie's expectations or the cat attendant's expectations?
Well, I was probably one and the same, but does Ollie wants more communication from me, more interaction in my life, and then conversely to ask Ellie's attendant, does she just have fun doing what she wants, or does she have a higher goal that I'm not addressing?
Okay.
So I guess a question would be posed to both of them.
Right. So, okay. Ollie's attendant is saying, well, yeah, you could interact with him further even, because it seems like he wants to have some kind of purpose, This is what the attendant's saying. He wants to have some kind of purpose in your life. Mm-hmm. Okay. So whatever you can think of to think of things that he can do.
Like the laundry? I don't have any mice in my house, but I guess he's talking about on somewhat of a spiritual level, not like chores around the house.
No. Yeah, we're not talking about chores around the house. Unless you can find a little mini vacuum cleaner and so he can push it around. Or a little mini dust rag or whatever.
He's not the greatest duster. Too clumsy.
Okay.
So he's talking about on a spiritual level.
Spiritual or emotional, but not necessarily so like mundane, everyday tasks.
Right, okay.
That would enhance your life, okay? Mm-hmm. This is what Ollie's interested in. Now, Ellie's attendant, he's saying, she, whatever, is saying, well, just let her play for a while. That's what she wants, Time enough for other things, when she grows up. And then she'll let you know what she wants to do.
Now, Ellie and Ollie used to play together a lot more than they do now. And sometimes that makes me really happy. Does that count if Ollie played with Ellie more? Would that help?
Would that help him achieve his goal?
Yeah, to know it makes me really happy when they do that.
Only if it makes him happy at the same time. Because he's not going to be doing something that only makes you happy. Okay?
Well, I would assume playing with Ellie would make him happy. He's the one that asked for Ellie.
Well, yeah, there may be times when playing with her would not make him happy. So
okay. I have a whole nother set of questions for cat attendants in general. If a cat is not feeling well, can the cat attendant be helping facilitate healing? Like, for instance, Ollie has sort of like an asthma condition, and can the cat attendant assist in that? Does it assist in wellness, or is it just? I guess I'm still not sure what the cat attendants do for the cats. Well, you said they protect them, but there's a whole lot of cats that get killed still.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a whole lot of people that get killed too.
Well,
a whole lot of other animals get killed also. Yeah. So they're saying that, yes, ideally, this is one of the things they would like to be doing. Okay. But it's dependent upon a host of things. They can't do everything themselves. See, if a cat is if their cat is ill, right, they cannot go ahead and heal the cat on their own. They need lots and lots and lots of help and direction,
And that would generally come from me, like a cat. What do you call us? What are we supposed to be called? Like the cat owners, cat masters, cat servants?
Well, okay. I think, for sure they'd like to be calling us their servants. Employees, how's that?
A cat employee where I pay to be your employee. That sounds like, I don't know, some kind of education penalty thing that forever and ever. No, it's not the same as that. You actually pay out of your pocket quite a bit of money sometimes. So
For what?
To serve a cat.
Oh, of course. That's what we're here for.
But they're here to serve us.
Well, no, they don't. Not really.
That's a misnomer?
Yes, it is.
And
it's more of a symbiotic relationship.
Okay.
It's not one serving the other, more than both are serving each other.
Okay.
Like I said, symbiotic.
But the money always flows one way.
Forget about the money. Forget about the money. They don't think in terms of money.
Of course they don't.
No.
It's their luxury. So would it be possible to ask a direct question to a cat attendant and get an answer on behalf of the cat? Like, are they communication facilitators or not?
Oh, yes. Yeah. If you ask them to do that, yes, they are. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Between cats and between cats and their guardians, for lack of a better word,
So if I ask my cat attendant for Ollie, is there anything you want the cat attendant for Ellie to know? I would have to actually ask that in order for that communication to happen, or they just communicate automatically?
Okay, so what exactly is the question? You're asking, do you have to ask the cat attendant
to
tell you something about Ollie? Or will the cat attendant tell you? Well, if you want constant information, okay, about anything that's changing with your cat, then you have to set this up as such with the cat attendant and the cat too.
Okay.
Because you can get communication from both of them, the cat and the cat attendant. Now, sometimes there'll conflicting information also, at which point you'll have to decide who it is to believe.
There's that whole discernment thing going on. So cat attendant fairy.
But here's the thing, okay?
Yeah.
I would rather believe the cat attendant than the cat.
Okay.
Because the cat may be trying not intentionally to fool you, but or maybe intentionally also to fool you, just because, they like playing tricks.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So is there any message from Ollie to the cat attendant to me right now?
No. All he's saying is whatever he has to say, he just communicates directly to you.
Okay. And he's not fooling me right now.
Well, I don't know. He could be.
What about Ellie? She doesn't have a message other than just leave her alone, let her play.
He says she's happy. He's happy. And
so this is all cats everywhere in the world, right?
I believe so.
And is it house cats that we're talking about, or is it...
Oh, no, it's all cats, right? The feral cats.
Lions and tigers?
Well, I don't know. Okay, I don't think so.
Okay, so we're talking mostly like the domesticated...
The small, I think size has got a great deal to do with this.
Okay. And what about, would you like to talk to the attendants of your cat fairies? I mean, your cats?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're the ones that are actually telling me that I should be communicating on a higher level with my cats. I shouldn't be just assuming that they're satisfied with their what I'm calling cat activities. Mm-hmm. They want more.
Yeah. Diana has 3 cats. I only have 2.
Well, yeah, okay. The third one is a new cat, right? And she's got a cat attendant also. But and What I'm going to be working on now, through the cat attendants too, is to have a harmonious relationship between all the cats in my household. The cat attendants are telling me that, yeah, they're working hard to bring this about. But it's kind of like, what's the word for it? When you're when you're corralling cats.
Oh, herding cats.
Herding cats, right?
Yeah, herding cats.
Okay. So, but the cat attendants that are presently now with these cats, they get along with each other, okay? And they want the cats to get along too. So, like I said, they're going to be working hard to make that happen.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what about dogs? I mean, I don't want to throw us into a curve, but do dogs have attendants too?
Yeah, it looks like they do.
Similar kinds?
They've got sort of like a different costume on. I can't tell you what it is at the moment, but I just know it's different. It's not like the cat attendant costume.
Mm-hmm.
But their function there is kind of like similar.
Very good. Is there a collective consciousness between the cat fairies that has a message for us?
Yeah, they do have a collective consciousness because they're not really individuals. Just like the art fairies, they don't have individual names.
Wait, I thought they were like named after the cat that they're...
Yes, exactly. They're named after the cat. Individual names apart from the cat. Mm-hmm. Because they're closely tied to the cat. And so once their role disappears in that the cat passes on, they kind of like merge back into a collective state of being until they're assigned a new job or a new role. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a cat attendant.
But do they have a global message for us, or just like what is it that they would like us to know about cats, or is that not something that they think of?
Oh, they want us to know that just like with all other animals, we should be treating cats as sort of like entities that have consciousnesses, and they're not just sort of like playthings for us. Mm-hmm. We don't own them. They've got their own minds and their own lives to live and their own experiences.
Well, anybody knows a cat kind of can see that.
Yeah, but they're saying all animals are like this.
Yeah.
So the cat attendant, we should be conscious of that, of all animals. Yeah, even the ones that we eat for food.
Like the fishes in the sea?
Well, yeah, fishes in the sea and various other animals.
Is that kind of... This question may be really random, but is there a reason why most of the world has agreed not to eat cats? Do the fairies have that answer, or is that for a different...
Well, okay, so they're saying that the basic reason that most of the world has agreed not to eat cats is because humans find them useful,
Did you hear that, Ollie? We find you useful.
Yeah, in terms of killing rats and mice, to make our food supply, the human food supply, more sanitary.
That's a pretty basic use. What about...
And then companionship.
And bringing... I read once about the consciousness or the vibration of a pet really adding to your life, like we talked in the last podcast about the energy of the art adding to your life in the room. And a cat vibration or a dog really could apply to any pet, but a cat or a dog, when a cat's purring or a dog is wagging his tail, it's in a very high vibrating state. And so beyond the mice and companionship, they actually can possibly lift the energy of a household. It's my understanding, and I wonder if the fairies could speak to that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, but it's kind of like they can't make any blanket statements about this because it's basically it's very individual and personal in terms of how one cat the relationship of one cat to one or two humans. Okay, it could within the same household, it could be completely different. One cat could have a different relationship to one person in that household. That same cat could have a completely different relationship to another person in that household.
So it could lift the energy of one and not even affect the other one.
Right.
Or even bring it down.
Yeah, exactly. That's all they can say about that, because because it's so individualistic. And it could be because also, cats and the humans that they relate to have been in past lives together. I mean, they don't necessarily remember it, but at some level they do, So, I mean, like my husband, we had a brother-sister cat, and the sister cat passed away last year. And my husband and the cat that passed away, whose name was Gremlin, they had an incredible relationship. It's like this. I mean, I didn't have that same relationship with Gremlin. And it's like, on some level, they were like really spiritually connected. And I guess Gremlin's cat attendant is gone because Gremlin has passed away. But I mean, I guess I could ask her, right, with respect to what kind of relationship she had with my husband previously.
Yeah, sure.
But that's kind of like another
thing.
Another thing. I'd have to do something else. Not just,
okay. Back to the fairies, the cat attendant fairies.
Yeah.
Is there anything else the cat attendant fairies would like us to know about them that we haven't covered yet?
Well, in that even though they may appear kind of staid and kind of like, what's the word for it? Not very sociable, because they don't really talk all that much.
The cats or the cat attendants?
The cat attendants, even amongst themselves, right? Or to us. Yeah. So they don't want us to think that they're like not fun or not sociable or not caring, but they are really, But that's just the nature of them, and the nature of their role is that they're there for their cats to protect them, to facilitate communication, and to ensure their happiness and health, which they try to do to their utmost capabilities.
So what happens, like I've had a number of cats over the years that have actually gotten run over. And I've gotten to the point where I really don't let the cats outside anymore. I finally have just given up, even though Ollie and Ellie love a little time in the backyard in the morning times. How does that happen where the cat attendants let them run out into the street?
Well, you see, this is the thing. The cat attendants need lots of help in that they cannot really stop a cat from doing what the cat wants to do. Okay, they don't have that capability. They don't even have a capability unless they're kind of like really, really evolved of sending any kind of message to the cat guardian saying, "Oh, better watch out. Your cat's wandering around in the street. They may get hit by a car." So what the cat attendants are hoping is that this kind of like network of, I was going to say, almost constant communication is there between them and the cat guardians to ensure that the cats don't do anything stupid, and that they get, that cats are really good at hiding their illnesses. So cats attendants try to give the guardians sort of like little hints of what's going on if there's something going on with the cat.
Okay, interesting. Do the cat attendant fairies know the cat diva?
They know of her, just not personally, right? They know there's like there's the cat diva god. Okay, so what are they saying? They're saying that it doesn't really have that much, the cat diva doesn't really have that much relevance to what they do every day. Yeah, you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to ask my cat attendants and also the cats what kinds of things they feel they should be doing here I mean, do they have specific roles to play that aren't being fulfilled yet?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm kind of like reminded of a cat. No, not a cat. A dog that the animal communicator I have worked with has, and who had passed on. And apparently, you know, in this dog afterlife, her dog has the role of sort of like showing newcomers the ropes, instructing them on, guiding them on what to do after they've passed on. So yeah, that's the dog's role now.
But the dog has passed on. So
the dog has passed on. Yes. Mm-hmm. So he's working with other animals that have passed on.
So do you want to ask your cats right now? Can you ask them right now, or do you have to ask them later? Cats and cat fairies. Or
I think I'm going to ask them later.
Okay. We'll need a report back.
Yeah. Because it's rather an involved question, because I don't think they've ever asked this of themselves before.
Well, that's the beginning, I guess, of a more complex life, is just having the opportunity to ask, well, what would I do given the facilitation to do that?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the cat attendants, though, they do interact with the plant fairies and the outdoor fairies, at least the ones in my house and backyard. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they're pointing out, so like plants for my cats to eat. Mm-hmm. And
the plant fairies are, or the cat?
The plant fairies are, mm-hmm. Right. And I think sometimes maybe they play tricks on them, saying they should maybe eat a certain plant, which causes them to throw up.
Oh, yeah. Does that happen in my house? Because I got several plants here that Allie in particular likes to eat and then throw up.
Well, okay, this is the thing. There's a difference in attitude between the cat attendants and the plant fairies. Cat attendants would never, ever, ever do that to their cats. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't point them to plants to eat just to see them throw up. But plant fairies would do that.
I see.
Not that they're mean. They're just being playful. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I have a question about the plant fairies. Are they in all indoor plants or just in your house?
Well, this is hard to say, because basically I just see them on one plant in my house.
Oh, okay.
Which is the big plant. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, they're climbing around, hiding behind the leaves and stuff like that.
What kind of plant is it?
I don't know.
Well, like a fern or a...
No, it's not a fern. And the leaves are not like long and narrow. The leaves are kind of like... Heart-shaped and medium-sized, mm-hmm. You know. And the plant is quite big, so there's plenty of room for these fairies to go climbing around and sitting on the leaves and stuff like that. They like doing that.
Do I have plant fairies on my lemon tree over there?
Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I wondered about that. They're much smaller. They're actually about 2 or 3 inches high.
It seems like I have smaller fairies in general in my house.
Yeah, I mean, the repellers were smaller because of all their activity.
Mm-hmm. What about my fern upstairs? I have a big, huge fern. Are there fairies in that? Seems like a great place to hide.
Yeah, there are. And they're similar to the smaller ones here, except they're a little bit bigger. A little bit taller. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So fairies can be very specific in size to the plant that they're in.
But they could be the same kind of fairy, mm-hmm. Right? In that, and the only difference is their size.
About how many fairies are there?
Plant fairies or just fairies?
No.
Total?
Fairies like in that lemon tree over there.
Oh, I don't know. I was going to say maybe like 20.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a lot of fairies.
And they're just hanging out there. Mm-hmm.
Now that particular tree goes inside in the winter and outside in the summer. So are they happy about that?
Oh, they love that. They don't like being cold. really.
So they're happy to come in the winter.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
What about this palm tree?
Yes, there's some there too. Not as many.
Okay.
Maybe like, I was going to say 5 or 6.
All right. It's a little bit small right now because I cut some leaves off, quite a few leaves off of it recently.
Yeah. I think some of the fairies have gotten a little bit disgusted with me because some of my indoor plants, I don't water all that much.
Oh, so they like healthier plants?
Well, yeah, of course they like healthier plants, yeah. And since their role is kind of like the cat attendant role in that they're there to ensure the well-being of the plant, right? To protect the plant.
Now, do they do that energetically?
Yeah, they make the person who's not taking care of the plant feel bad.
No, the guilt pangs of not watering your plants on time comes from the fairies?
Yes. I mean, they wish they could do more, like it's something physical, actually, but they can't, like make you trip.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
or hit you.
Bop you on the head, say, water this dang plant.
Right. I mean, they could kind of, in that they could sort of like make a smaller thing move that would hit a larger thing that would then hit you. But they don't like to do that.
Yeah, good. So they're generally nice fairies.
Yeah, but like I said, their role for their lifetimes and the plant's lifetime is to actually help the plant.
Now, do they hop off and get onto another house plant when that plant dies?
Yeah, it's kind of like with the cat attendant fairies. They go back to the whatever virtual area which has the plant fairy collective consciousness in there. And then they're kind of like reassigned.
Mm-hmm. Now, are there some environments in homes that fairies are even happier in?
Oh, yeah. They love homes which are kind of like have a greenhouse-like quality to them.
Oh, nice.
I'm in that, all the plants are well cared for. The humidity is great. I mean, whatever the plant needs is there. That's their dream. That's their dream home.
So if I or anyone had a greenhouse, the fairies would be
they'd
everywhere.
be overjoyed.
Yeah, but there'd be just tons of them.
Not necessarily tons of them, because every plant only has as many fairies as it needs to take care of it.
But still, there'd be a lot of fairies because they'd be happy.
They'd be happy,
right?
But if you go by my way of thinking, right, or my way of analyzing the number of fairies, you'd think that perhaps a plant that isn't doing well would have more fairies because it would need more fairies to take care of it. But that's not really the case. Each plant comes with a set number of fairies, and it doesn't really change over the course of the lifetime.
Now, we talked last week about the house fairies helping to keep the energy clean. Prevailing wisdom has it that plants help keep the air clear and clean in a house. So the plant fairies in some way be assisting that whole process?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So they work together simultaneously with house fairies.
They're working together on exactly that. So that's one of the reasons they try to keep the plants healthy. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons why they kind of like get disgruntled when owners of the plants don't really give them the care they need.
Yeah, I'll bet. So I was thinking that your plant in your house might be a philodendron or something, like a large split-leaf.
No, I don't think it is, because I'm pretty sure philodendrons are toxic to cats.
Oh, and you only have plants in your house that cats can eat.
Well, that are non-toxic.
Right.
So, yeah. And so, which brings me to another point, which the plant fairies want me to talk about. I'm not quite sure why, is that they think it's really important for... The plant fairies think it's really important for cats to eat grass. Okay, this is it's really important. So either you pick grass from outside, or let your cats outside to eat grass, or grow grass for them.
Is there a particular kind of grass?
Grass that's not been treated with any fertilizers. That would not be good.
But that's not a type of grass.
No, it's not a type of grass. They're saying, just what we think of as regular grass.
All right, that's fine. It's probably a lot of varieties.
Although I do buy oat grass and wheat grass, and that doesn't quite look like the regular grass that you see growing on, your lawn or in your backyard or on the green spaces by the sidewalk.
But are the plant fairies saying that that's the best grass that's a good grass for the cats?
No, they're saying all grass is good.
Okay, all grass is good.
Yeah, all grass is good. And they work, they're really insistent upon this, and they want the cat attendants to know that, the cats should be eating grass.
All right. I do that for my cats. I go out and pick some nice weedy grass from the alley, bring it in. They have a blast with it down.
Yes.
But not year round. But you can actually find little sprays of grass growing pretty early and pretty almost year round out there.
Right.
But I guess some areas would be easier than others. In fact, I notice sometimes that the grass in wintertime up in the northern areas of the United States can be very, very green. So you probably can go out and just grab some and feed it to them. Lawn grass and stuff.
In places where it's below freezing?
Well, grass... I grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania, and our grass there would sometimes get covered by snow. But when the snow melted, it was green as could be. So, yes... you could access it year-round if you were called to do so.
Okay.
So that was my experience. In the South, it seems like it's a little different types of grass they plant, and they can get scorched out by the sun and destroyed by the winter. But even so, you can find green grass on the weeds in the weeds year-round down here.
Right. So that's one of the things that the plant fairies wanted to say.
Okay.
The importance of grass.
Now, are the plant fairies inside the same as the plant fairies outside?
They're cousins.
They're cousins.
Yeah.
And are garden fairies their cousins as well then?
Yes. They're cousins. They're all cousins.
They're all cousins?
It's all one big family.
So,
and
the backyard... in the front yards, if they have trees in them, they have plant fairies.
There's tree fairies too,
Tree fairies.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you have like flowers, there's flower fairies. They're probably, this could go on and on, right? There's a lot of different kinds of fairies.
That's right. There are. And they're saying that they're not necessarily different types of fairies, even though they're attached to different kind of like plant beings. Mm-hmm. They're all related, but the main difference is their size.
Oh, their size changes with the plant.
That's right. So you can have like a plant fairy who is say like a small fairy that's on your lemon tree there, right? Mm-hmm. 2 or 3 inches high. Maybe one day this plant fairy thinks to him or herself, okay, I want to be something else. And so they decide, okay, I'm going to be an outside fairy and I want to be a tree fairy. So they grow a little bit bigger and they go outside and become a tree fairy.
Okay, do these plant fairies walk outside or do they have wings? Do they fly outside?
Oh, they fly around.
Oh, they all have wings or capacity to fly.
No, okay. They can walk around, but they also fly around too.
Do they have wings or do they just fly around?
Well, are you saying, do they need wings to fly around?
Yes, that's another way of phrasing it.
Okay. I don't know. They're saying, okay, you may see our wings or you may not. Mm. But whether or not you see them, it doesn't really matter because we can still fly.
So when I'm taking pictures, lots of times I use a macro lens. I'm working with a lot of times with flowers, sometimes with just plants. And I feel like I'm taking pictures of fairy habitats and fairies, but they always show up as like little glowing spots of light or fuzzy spots. It's like a blur. You capture a blur or a special glow or something that looks like a portal, like there might be a fairy habitat down there. And that's what my camera captures. And I feel like that's what they are. And I'm just wondering, when I'm photographing a plant and I capture something like that, is that a fairy or a fairy habitat?
Yeah, they're saying yes. In most cases, it is.
So occasionally I get it wrong, but most of the time I get it right.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what they're saying is that whatever your camera captures, that's what you yourself are seeing. Is that what they're saying? Kind of what they're saying, right? Or they're also saying that the camera can only capture so much.
Because it's not multidimensional enough? Is that why I can only capture the light and the spaces?
Cameras are designed for the 3D world. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's any kind of camera-like apparatus that has been invented to capture things
on a more multidimensional
level.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know that either.
Well, there are cameras that claim to capture auras.
Right.
But again, that's just capturing energy, light and energy, not really not really that much different than what I'm doing, but it is able to.
But you also have to remember that whatever energy or that is in the flower fairy, somehow it gets it's not only reflected as what you were seeing in your photographs, what you thought were fairies, but also the energy kind of like infuses the whole picture. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So the energy infuses the picture, and then that energy stays with the picture?
Yeah, it stays with the picture. It's like captured in time. Mm-hmm.
And so pretty much every time I take a picture of a plant or a flower, I'm capturing, not every time I take a picture, but every time I feel like I've captured this fairy energy, I have to a certain degree.
Yes, you have. You have captured it at a point in time. And this is, I guess, kind of interesting because I hope this doesn't contradict what I said earlier in the previous podcast, but it seems like this is what they're telling me now. Like whoever's looking at that photograph can feel that energy. And so like if it does something positive to the viewer, then the viewer enhances that energy, but not necessarily with the photograph.
You said that was the art, but we're talking about most of the work I'm talking about now is the capturing of the plants.
Right. And so it enhances the energy of the actual flower fairy in the plant.
Not the photograph, but the flower fairy.
Right.
So
even though the flower may be dead by that point, Yes,
most likely it's dead. But the flower fairy then, well, there's a...
You have to understand also that the energy, like when, say a cat passes on, the cat attendant goes off into the collective. I mean, their energy never dies, right? The energy's still there. It just gets transmuted into a different kind of role.
So this brings me to another question about the plants then and the plant fairies. It is, as I watch plants bloom, I'm particularly interested in flowers and the energy they give off. I guess the first question is, are there fairies that are different in flowering plants versus green plants, like in the flowers themselves?
Oh, yeah, there are.
And a lot of flowers have the propensity to all bloom at the same time. Like, I don't know, it's daisy season and daisies are blooming all across the earth at the same time, forming these huge grids, sort of, in my understanding, big energetic grids. And these fairies that are all with these little possible daisies, are they part of this grid, this energetic grid that surrounds the earth, or are they not that involved in like something as simple as a daisy who might, one stalk, it's a bloom and it's gone?
Oh no, they're all involved, right? Except, this, like if you think of most flowers are actually smaller than the plants that they're a part of, right? Mm-hmm. So the flower fairies would be kind of like really tiny. But it's the tininess of themselves that actually makes for their power, because each flower has got a tiny fairy. Mm. And if one plant has lots of flowers, that means there's lots of tiny fairies.
That's very interesting. So if there's the grid can be within the plant itself, because there's lots of fairies in that plant blooming at once on little blooms, and then if you have grids around the world of flowers blooming. So is there any like amplification of that energy by these grids, or by like having a bunch of fairies and flowers bloom at once?
It's kind of like an ebb and flow, right? There's certain seasons when the flowers or particular plants will bloom. And that's why kind of like not everything blooms at the same time. And there's different seasons. Mm-hmm. around the world also. So it's you're talking about increasing in amplification or just...
Well, to have so many things bloom at once, there's a little amplification, but
then the blooms fade away, and so the energy kind of
dies down.
But
it must leave something behind, a residual lifting of the energy in this world, or not?
They like to think so.
They like to think so.
Yeah. And
very interesting.
And because there's literally, it's like trillions of flowers that bloom in at any one point, right? Or more than trillions. Yes, something is definitely happening.
So back to houseplants for just a second, or maybe just to kind of wrap up. Is there something that the houseplant fairies would like us humans to know?
Be good to your plants, both inside and outside. Talk to them. Communicate in other ways. Send good energy out to them. They're your friends. We're your friends, meaning they're telling me we're your friends. And if you grow things like herbs or vegetables, hey, they want to be eaten.
So go ahead and eat them if you grow them.
Of course. Eat them if you grow them. Mm-hmm.
Can fairies actually increase the energetic value of the plants that you're eating? If there's a whole bunch
sure.
A whole bunch of fairies around a carrot, it's going to be a much higher vibrating carrot.
Yeah. And, okay. You're not going to get a whole bunch of fairies around a carrot. You're going to get one fairy, right? Mm-hmm. You can't, there's not going to be more, you can't make more fairies
per carrot. So it'd be
per carrot just to increase the vibration.
But you often have
But you can make the existing fairies happier.
Okay.
But and how do you make them happier?
Yeah. Do they like little garden ornaments?
Yes. Oh, okay. Now, depends, right? Depending upon circumstances, right? They do like to be eaten, but some of these eaters, they kind of view as pests, kind of, right? Like birds, or they will peck at the seeds. Squirrels, chipmunks. They don't really view them as pests, right? Because they're existing with them, but they feel that sometimes the birds and squirrels are not actually treating them very nicely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I know from experience of growing lots of vegetables that sometimes a squirrel will come and take one bite out of a cucumber.
Yes, I know.
And
they hate that. The plant fairies hate that.
That's funny.
That's why they were saying they're pests.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Is there any last messages?
Last messages from the plant fairies.
Or last few messages?
Well, we're all out there. We're in the plants. We're in the trees. We're in the flowers. We're in the soil. Notice us. Communicate your gratitude to us in some way, and we will do the same to you. So,
all right. Thank you, plant fairies, and thank you, cat attendant fairies, and a little nod to the dog attendant fairies we didn't really talk to, but I'm assuming they're going to be similar to the cat fairies and what they do.
Yeah.
And I think we have a few more fairies on standby for next podcast.
Yes, we do. Okay, we have some of the fairies in my house, which are a little bit different than the repelling fairies in Karen's house, although I seem to see some repelling fairies in my house also. But there's also the house gnomes that are in a house in the country, actually on Chincoteague. So, and they seem to be quite different than the fairies that we've talked about already.
All right.
And that we've talked with.
Sounds cool. Can't wait. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you, Karen. Yes. Thank you, fairies.
Yes, thank you, fairies. That's all for this episode of the 1 to 9 podcast. Thank you for listening, and please sign up for our newsletter at 1to9podcast.com.